Good afternoon and welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. Here's my question today. Does Starmer hate Brits? Does he hate Britain? Does he despise those of us who live and work here? And then, how does he justify letting in a man who's an anti-Semite by his own confession, a man who hates us, a man who wants to burn down houses and Downing Street, and a man who causes monkeys and apes? This guy needs to be chucked out immediately. Are you with me or against me? And what about Starmer? I think this is the end now. It has to be. We can't have a prime minister who puts the rights of an Egyptian Jew hater above yours and mine. And that's before we get on to the 40,000 illegal immigrants, the flip-flop warriors that he's allowed into Britain. The man is a joke, a complete and utter joke, but I'm not laughing anymore. What about you? So please, if you've got a comment to make, write it in the comment box and I'll come to you as soon as I can. Show's earlier than normal because I need to get this off my chest. So we are ripping the lid of Keir Starmer's catastrophic record on immigration, on honesty, and asking the question, whose side is our Prime Minister really on? Please let me know your thoughts. Because more than 40,000 illegal migrants have crossed the channel. Can't dispute it. It's a fact. They're being dumped into hotels paid for by your taxes. Can't dispute it. It's a fact. Whilst local communities are being ignored and stretched to breaking point. Serious sexual and violent crimes committed by some of these undocumented men of fighting age seem to be getting brushed aside, even covered up. They're never properly addressed. They're never confronted head on. And Starmer hasn't made any comments on the double rape in Nuneaton or the woman in Warsaw who got stabbed 19 times in the head and died, or indeed on the dog walker. You've got to ask the question, why? Why? Whose side is Starmer on? No censorship here. Say whatever you want. Then we have the Alaa Abd el-Fattah scandal. We'll just call him Fatar to make it easier. Certainly a fat head, Starmer, has let him into our country. Do you remember yesterday? 2 days ago, I talked about this. I was the first, I think, on the radio or the internet to get talking about it. The others had to wait and see if it was permissible. Starmer says he was delighted that this so-called activist is back in the UK. He was given a passport in 2021 by the Conservatives. They should hang their heads in shame. But Starmer, yesterday, late on, he claimed he was unaware of the social media posts by this monster. Unaware. However, the parliamentary record, Hansard, tells a very different story. And thank you to those of you who have been putting up the video when he questioned Rishi Sunak in 2022. And you know the way Starmer asks questions in Parliament? It's quite clinical, just like a lawyer. He actually said this man's gone to prison for his social media comments. Did he not read them then? Has he not read them now? Is this cock-up or conspiracy? And is this the end of Starmer? Was he careless? Was Starmer playing word games yesterday? Or were we simply being, and I'm going to use the word, lied to by our Prime Minister? What's that smell? Oh, it's the smell of bullshit. That's right. Of course, Starmer knew what these texts said. Admittedly, they were 10 or 15 years ago. But do you think this man's changed his attitude? He hates Jews, hates Zionists, and he hates us. He says we are like apes and monkeys. And he also says we should burn down Downing Street. Now, that's joking. Some people might say, I agree with that. But you understand what I'm trying to say here. Time and time again, Starmer, your Prime Minister, appears to be more concerned with the rights of these so-called activists, terrorist scum, I call them, and offenders than with the safety, the concerns, and just plain common sense of ordinary British people. So in this programme, I'm asking the question millions are asking all over the country. Has Keir Starmer completely lost touch? Yes, with the country. And is this one lie too many? We all know he's Billy Bullshitter, but now he's lied. His first duty is the protection of us, the citizens. That wasn't his first. He was delighted. And Lammy and Yvette Cooper all dancing a jig because this man who wants to kill police, this man who hates Jews and thinks they should all be dead, he's back in the UK. They were dancing a jig. Surely this is the end of Starmer. What's your opinion? Come on, let's get talking. Let's get angry. Let's say what we really feel because they're not listening. And Starmer, I'm going to put my cards on the table. You know I hate him, but I want him gone now. Somebody just said slippery Starmer, can't really. But it's more than him being slippery. He's a barefaced fucking liar. A liar. It's on the record that he asked Rishi Sunak about this man saying, what are we doing to make Egypt or release him? Just for social media posts. But this is the same man who sent, effectively, Lucy Connolly to prison for nasty words. The same man who sent many people who protested. The same man who started to arrest people at Epping at the Bell Hotel. The same man who used their money to defend the hotel against the rights of local people. He chose that illegal immigrants, the flip-flop army, had more rights than you and me. This is your supreme leader. This is Keir Starmer. He's a bloody disgrace. Are you with me or against me? Just the facts again, just so you know, over 40,000 illegal migrants have crossed the channel this year alone. Your money is paying for their hotels. Your money is paying for their doctors. Your money is paying for their taxi bills. Your money is paying for their wigs. Your money and their new clothes as well. I've got nothing against the individuals who want to come here and try to make a better life, but they got to get to the back of the queue and do it the right way. Most of these people, 95% of them, are not genuine refugees. They're economic migrants. Let's stop messing about and let's get rid of Starmer because Starmer is the stumbling block. The Prime Minister, he says nothing. And then when he does open his mouth, like yesterday or the day before, he insults the public's intelligence, your intelligence, my intelligence. He is now bullshitting. He says he was unaware of el-Fattar's extremist social media posts, and they are extreme. You've seen them. They're splashed all over the papers today. They've taken 2 days to catch up as well. He was aware because the parliamentary record shows he raised those very posts in the Commons in 2022 when he was in opposition to try and stitch up Rishi Sunak. Don't get me wrong, the Conservatives don't come out of this with any honour either because they gave him citizenship. This man is not British. Let's revoke his passport and boot him out. By the same token, all those lovey-dovey actors, you know the ones, I mean, Brian Cox, brilliant actor, but shut the fuck up when it comes to politics because just go and pretend you're a tree, pounce about on the stage, Olivia Colman, all the rest of you. Why do we listen to actors? They're the most shallow people in the world. I know. I studied drama with many of these people. I was one of these lovies. Why do they end up on programs like Question Time? No. They've got nothing to say. When you ever meet an actor, they're vacuous. They are empty vessels. But somehow they've controlled the agenda. They're almost as guilty as Keir Starmer, Yvette Cooper, David Lammy, for letting in this foul monster. Let me be clear. Either the Prime Minister doesn't know what he's talking about, i.e. my defence is on thick, and lots of politicians use that defence, or he thinks that you won't bother checking up. He's forgotten there's a thing called the internet now, and people are right on these things. This is about immigration failure. It's about double standards. Two-tier Keir strikes again. It's about a political class and particularly a Labour government that always seems to put the activists, the terrorists, the scum, I want to live with Hamas and all that mob first, and the British public, the people who pay their wages last. So I'm exposing the contradictions, the excuses, and this is the thing that gets me, the arrogance, because they think they're so progressive. We've got that green idiot, Zach Palensky, who says we should have open borders. Let them all in. Let them all in. Guess what he used to be? An actor. What was he after he was an actor? He was a so-called hypnotist who promised women he could grow their boobs through hypnosis. Where I come from, that's called a pervert. But maybe I'm wrong. And if I am, I apologise, Zach. Tonight, we expose those contradictions, the excuses, and as I say, the sheer arrogance of the so-called progressives. And we ask the questions that millions of decent Brits are asking. Is this the one lie too many, Starmer? Is this the final lie? And also, Keir Starmer, I think you're finished, and I'll be interested to know what my audience thinks as well. You should go now. Go! And take Lammy with you, and take Yvette Cooper as well. What an absolute disgrace. Over 40,000 people got into our country via small boats, and now he's let in a dangerous extremist. Am I right or am I wrong? Oh, look at the amount of people we've got commenting. Thank you very much. It is an extra show, so I never know what to expect. Thank you for being there. Don't forget, if you want to make sure you never miss a show, you must join Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. It says subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, completely free. Then you'll always get a note to say Gaunt is about to do a show, and you won't miss out. If you like what I do, please press the like button. We've got 11 so far, which is not enough. Come on, press. And also, if you'd like to donate to keep these going, or to pay my bail when I get arrested for saying the obvious that Starmer is a liar, right? You can do that. Just click that $sign by the comments if you're watching on YouTube at the moment. If you're listening on a podcast or whatever, wherever you get this from, you can also donate simply by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. And for those asking, why are you doing it early? Two things. Family event. I forgot it was Christmas sort of thing. And secondly, the football. The mighty Sky Blues are going to hammer those carrot crunchers of Ipswich later today. Because if you're watching this later, which of course you can, it was actually out live at 1:15 on, what day is it? It's Monday, the 29th of December. Thank you for joining me. Spread the word. Tell everybody. Share this stream. This is where real politics are talked about. And I don't want to brag, but 2 days ago, I talked about this guy before anybody else dared touch it. I wonder why. That's the mainstream media in bed with the politicians. Stephen Hall says, afternoon, John. Afternoon. Dave to buy, quadruple 4, says Starmer needs to go. Stephen Hall says he isn't on our side. That's for sure. Well, that's the question I'm asking. Do you believe our Prime Minister is on your side? Has he got your back? Would you want Starmer to have your back? Anyway, different issue. Craig Marston's there. Hello, John. I totally agree with you. This must be the end of Starmer and Labour now. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. I don't know how he can recover from this. Oh, I haven't told you. Terrorist scum, anti-Jew man. This is a quote from him this morning. I am shaken that just as I am being reunited with my family for the first time in 12 years, can you hear the friggin' violins? Several historic tweets of mine have been republished and used to question and attack my integrity and values, escalating to calls for the revocation of my citizenship. He says, I take allegations of anti-Semitism very seriously, and I argue that some of the posts have been completely twisted out of their meaning. Oh, you're the victim. You're the victim. I forgot I got it wrong. You'll have Greta Thunberg round later. She'll look after you. It's just a joke. This man is scum. We don't want him in the UK. Are you with me or against me? Come on. Kid Starver, the Israeli spy, rescues another Israeli spy. Crazy times, mate. I don't really understand that. What, you think he was a spy for the... I hope you can back up that allegation, otherwise you're going to get yourself in serious trouble. Please don't make accusations that you can't possibly know the facts of on my show. Go and do it somewhere else. Boris, the bumbling clown, gave him a passport. Yes, he did, Stephen. But what difference does that make? He did. It's cross-party. If you saw that letter that the Lovelies organised, it was everybody saying, release him. Everybody. Apart from the decent silent majority of this country. What kind of prime minister, says James Warrington on YouTube, is unaware of the record of the foreign criminal he was working hard to have released? Well, that's what I'm saying. He's either as thick as pig shit, or he was aware and he thought, oh, well, no one will notice. Well, and of course, there's the coincidence. Where's the Commons at the moment? The House of Lords. They're on holiday. It's Christmas, as Noddy Holder would say. Why do you think he's pushed through all these other things recently? This man does not believe in democracy. This man is not a leader. He's a human rights lawyer leech, in my opinion. More BS comes from Starmer's mouth than Mickey Pearce in Only Fools and Horses. Thank you. Slippery Starmer can't wriggle out of this one, although he probably will blame the far right again. You're absolutely right. It is the far right who have caused this problem. Of course it is. It's people like me and you. We're all far right if we don't agree with Keir Starmer. Get Starmer and Labour out now, says Kevin Hook. Right, so let me just explain to you how this works. You write comments up on whatever platform you're on, and I will look at them and read out some of them, and it adds to the debate. If you want to share the stream, please feel free. Go ahead and do that. And if you'd like to press the like button, it helps with the algorithm, then more people know about me. All good stuff. There's people still just rediscovering me. I had one last night. He said, God, I really miss you on TalkSport. I haven't been there 12 years, but I'm back. And I'm loving life. And I'm loving doing this show. And I love you to contribute, not just your comments, but also your cash. So if you can afford a few quid today, please press that $sign and donate. Either that or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and offer some money. I know money's tight, but this is independent broadcasting. I get a bit now from the adverts, but nowhere near enough until I build the figures higher. Let's move on then. Dennis Spink, he says, Starmer has stumbled more times than Jenga. Is it Jenga? Yeah, it is Jenga. Jenga blocks falling. I think his game is well and truly over, John. Well, I'm not sure, because the BBC are on his side. The BBC were calling this terrorist scum, anti-Jew, anti-Semite man just an activist. He's not an activist. Anyway, let's move on. Starmer won't be happy until there's a major terrorist attack in this country, killing as many as possible. Starmer will get out of this like he does everything else. He literally doesn't give a shit, says Denise. Well, I'm sure he doesn't want a terrorist attack, but I understand the passion in what you're saying. Thank you for it. Dormston Cook, he's come through on X or Twitter. He says he needs to be stripped of his citizenship, no doubt. Well, Starmer? Oh, no, you mean el-Fattah. But watch out for the lawyers and the ECHR yet again, John. I'm worried that we're going to have at least another 3 years of this bunch of clowns. Not if we start protesting, not if we start saying, no way, Jose. Stephen Hall says Starmer is playing dumb again, and that's on YouTube. Chris Birch, 139, of course he's a racist against us. He has been persecuting us for their digital ID prison card. That's why he's persecuting us. And we must get this sick and disgusting Nazis dictator. Well, then you just stop. You got a bit carried away there, didn't you? But there we are. Thank you very much for it. Stephen says, I agreed, never listen to celebrities. Yeah, why would an actor know anything about anything? Yeah, I can understand if it's a playwright or it's a director, a film director, somebody with a bit of brains. But have you ever met an actor who's got any brains? I can tell you I haven't. Some of them are brilliant actors, but that's what they do. They just say the words and move in the directions the directors have told them. They're not the talent. They're certainly not the intellectuals of the arts world. Anyway, Kevin Hook, get Starmer and Labour out now. That's on Facebook. Got to agree with you. Here we are. Graham Fletcher, who's our resident socialist. He says, Boris gave him a passport, so they are to blame. What? They are partly to blame. You're correct. It's the whole political class, Graham. But we can't do this tribal thing. Oh, Boris did this, therefore it's his fault. Starmer could have still said no. How many times you said on the show he's finished and should go, but how? Just ask him before you call me a lefty and an idiot. Well, you are a lefty. I'm not sure if you're an idiot because sometimes you say some sensible things, Graham. But he will go. He has to. It's just falling apart around him. It's only because the rest of his party are scared shitless they're going to lose their jobs. Would you want to give away your your over 100 grand a year job, all the exes, that 2 houses, etc., when you could carry on for another 36 months? That's the problem. That the whole thing is corrupt. He got into power on lies. Those idiots who are supporting the fox hunting ban, the trail, they don't want people to chase a rag. It's inhumane to chase a rag, evidently, across fields with horses and hounds. Okay, I understand. But those idiots, right, they say, but that was in the manifesto. That is one of the things that he has achieved. It was one line and he's banned it. One. What about the pensioners? What about everything else? What about the green nonsense? What about the fact that he's now going to charge you by the mile? What about all the lies, all the omissions? Come on, be fair. They're all paid to spread goat turds. I don't understand what that means. Thank you very much. In America, James, could you write it in English? I know you went before we finished educating you, the colonials. Joke. Tories and Labour deserve 0 seats. Well, that's probably what's going to happen, Stephen. Thank you for that. John, your thoughts on CCFC? Not bad with old Doug and Super Frank. Well, we're not talking about the Coventry City today. I'm very excited about the game tonight. In case you've missed it, I have apologised many times. I was wrong. I said Starmer was a glory appointment and it wouldn't work. Mark Robbins shouldn't have got the sack, etc., and I didn't trust Doug. I was clearly wrong and I've apologised. I don't know how many more times you want me to do it, but I'll just put on the old sackcloth and ashes, shall I? John Tit Whisperer, pardon? Is that what you're calling me? You behave yourself. No, you're talking about Zach. As the Moody Blues said, go now. Thank you very much. From Birmingham, doesn't one of them just die, just passed away? I saw that anyway. James R.C. Irvin, those books will grow when he got them. Those books will grow when he got them pregnant. James R.C. Irvin, I know you're in America. I don't know what time it is, but perhaps you should go and have a lie down now because you're making no sense today. Think before you send a message, please. Dan Spink says, Happy New Year, by the way. Well, thank you very much indeed. That's very kind of you. If you want to join in, just put your comments there. I see no one's bothered to donate. I'm almost busting a blood vessel here. I'm working so hard and you're not bothering. What's going on? I suppose, once again, those vile tweets, and then she's put in quotation marks, didn't cross his desk. Oh, yeah, well, Jimmy Savile, he never came across Keir Starmer's desk. Came across many others, of course. But Starmer didn't know about it, although he was the director of public prosecutions at the time. He also looked after Abu Qatada, didn't he? He defended him. And a few others who hated our very way of life. Can he survive? That's the question I'm asking you. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? What's this? This is In Thailand Till I Die. He's just donated £20 on YouTube. He says, Hi, John. Only really catch you live on the early ones. Time difference. So I watch you on the TV at breakfast. Treat yourself to some more puff juice. Talking about what I call our aftershave. I've got it here. Look, me and Ewan McGregor. He used to advertise it. Yeah? adventure. I tell you how strong that stuff is. My sister-in-law, she was in Sainsbury's, and she comes around the corner in an aisle, and she sees me, and she says, "Hello, John." I said, "All right, what are you doing? And how do you know I was here?" She said, "I could smell you from the bread counter." In a nice way. She recognised the aftershave. That's very kind of you. Anyway, back to In Thailand Till I Die, one of my big fans. He says, treat yourself some more puff juice. We're not being anti-gay before you get on your high horse. Or underpants without holes in them. Great to have you back. Thank you, In Thailand. Yeah, and I am back. Have you noticed most of the other ponces who do talk shows, they're still on holiday? It's like the cure for sickness is always being self-employed, isn't it? So in Thailand, thank you very much indeed for your contribution. Maggie Morley, your comment was brilliant. Nick Hogan, an old mate of mine, he says, I'm very worried that all these migrants crossing illegally, throwing away all their documentation, is a Trojan horse attack. I could share those fears, Nicky. The political elite expects the rest of us to put up with their ideologies. Yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. I don't mind living with people who believe in nonsense, you know, whether they're Muslims, Jews, Christians, whatever. Live and let live. But I don't understand why we got to dilute what we are. This is Britain, and it's a Christian country, first and foremost. So fit in or ship out, like most minorities have, to be fair. Nick, I got your message. I will call you later. You keep calling me just when I'm in the middle of doing something. No, not that. Thank you. Anyway, nice talking to you. The real problem is the Attorney General Hermer. No one mentions him anymore. No. There's Starmer the Harmer and Hermer the... Well, whatever. I suppose these people don't see all the people protesting in the streets, says James R.C. Irvin. Congratulations, James. You've just made a comment that I understand. Taking a mic. Thank you very much. Dormston Cook on YouTube, he says, I heard today that Egypt are thinking of stripping the terrorist of his citizenship. Well, they have had him in prison. They ate him for 12 years. So we need to move quickly, but let's not hold our breath. Very true. Very true. He's got dual citizenship because Boris gave him a passport. But that doesn't mean this is Boris's fault. It's the whole political class. Diversity is our strength. Well, when they're blowing us up. I don't think it is, actually. I beg to differ. What we need to do is be different but equal. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way to behave. Imagine England in 2014. It'll be like Bosnia. I worry about that, you know. I think you're making a serious point there. Thank you. I never wanted Farage. Now I do, because it'll be better than this shower. That is absolutely correct. James Irvin is beginning to make sense in the States. What I cannot understand is why the Brits would even consider a party name the same as a workers' party, well known to be commie. Thank you. Michael Yates says the lefty media saying el-Fattah, I like that, instead of el-Fattah, put up to them tweets years ago, so it shouldn't count. Yet the same media went after Farage over unprovable comments from when he was a kid. Yeah, that's absolutely true. What Farage allegedly said 51 years ago, The Guardian, ITV, Channel 4, and the Independent, the rest of those poxy outfits, think it's a hanging offence. Not proven. This geezer, who basically says, kill all Jews, the only good Jew is a dead Jew, or Zionist, or, you know, they use that Jew-Zionist thing to get round the law, don't they? And he wants to kill all the police and burn down Downing Street. And he thinks all white people are apes and monkeys. Now, imagine if that was a white person saying that about a black person. It's just not on. And Starmer said, I wasn't aware. So the defence is, I'm as thick as you know what, or I did it on purpose. He's trying to trigger us. He's trying to wind us up. He is. That's my view. Anyway, if Starmer hasn't just made an elaborate mistake, then he's just being stubborn, John. Yeah, will he apologise? Would you accept if Starmer came on the telly this afternoon? Fat chance. But if he did and he apologised, would you accept his apology? I won't tell you what my opinion is, but would you accept an apology. Starmer needs to pay us all damages. You're right, my friend. Very true. Hi, John. Starmer is actually saying he wasn't aware of this man. Makes you wonder what Starmer is actually connected to, if anything. He seems to take any opportunity to depart to any other part of the world to escape. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe he's been a lot of, I don't know. He basically has said, just so you know the facts, he said, I wasn't aware of these tweets. But in 2022, in Parliament, he had a go at Rishi Sunak and he mentioned the tweets. So he's lying, isn't he? That's a lie. How can he be the Prime Minister? Starmer isn't just contemptible, he doesn't care a bit, says James. Josh says, why do you want few quids when we're being fleeced? Why do you want few quid from us when we're being fleeced by the government and MSM? You need to walk for Talk TV or GB News, mate. Do you want a lesson in the real world? I'd go and work for them if they offered me a job. They're not going to offer me a job. They haven't offered me a job. End of story. I've created something myself. I'm quite proud of it, Josh. Don't know whether you've ever done anything for yourself. And my fans, people who like my show, they don't mind donating. No one's going to force you to donate. You won't get sent to prison like the BBC, but it would be kind of fair and honourable if you want to join in, to now and again to slip a fiver in the internet hat, wouldn't it, Josh? Do you understand now? Thank you. He says not walk, he meant work. Okay. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for your career advice. Starmer should be in prison for crimes against this country. Easy Tiger, I like that, 652. This cowardice king needs to dissolve Parliament immediately. It's never going to happen. It would create a constitutional crisis, but I understand where the passion comes from. Thank you for it. He's got to go, and he should be called out as a traitor, says Darren Vidler on Facebook. He lies. He's got a hatred of the hard-working people of this country. Lindsay Hoyle should be asked if he's allowed a lot of the stuff that he's allowed Labour to get away with. That's very true, and he's also turned question time, Prime Minister's questions, hasn't he, into an opportunity for him to say how good he is, big himself up. It's only because nobody answers back, because he can't go in the street because everyone's chanting wanker. They're doing it at the darts, they're doing it at the football, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. People absolutely hate him. Patriot Dan says, I hate to say it, this scumbag will never resign. You might be right there, my friend. Musical man guitar, I believe immigration is the one subject likely to cause violent backlash, but we don't want that, do we? From Brits against the establishment. We have consistently been ignored. It feels like the pressure cooker is about to blow. I would probably agree with that. John, some of the actors have been making donations to Labour. Of course they have. They're all Labour lovers. They're all Labour lovers. The theatre world is infested by these people because they're publicly funded, so they don't actually have to reflect. I mean, I was only saying this to my wife the other day. Where's the big statement plays, regardless of politics, of the state of the nation? There was a great play in the late 70s by a man called David Edgar. I got to know him, actually, called Destiny, which was about the rise of the right. And he is a lefty. He also did the adaptation of Nicholas Nickleby for the RSC, etc. But it was interesting. But where are those plays now? Where are people talking about what it's like? I don't know. Leon Tail says, John, time for everyone to get behind Tommy Robinson. No, it's not. He's got a part to play in all this, but he's not a politician. Dormston Cook says, I absolutely echo your comments about Starmer going, but who is there to take over? That's even more scary. I don't think so. I think Nigel Farage would do, well, he couldn't do a worse job, could he? Come on, be honest. Terry Wheatley, he's one of my regulars. He says, John Lodge from the Moody Blues recently passed away. Yeah, that's it, John Lodge. What's that song that I had, the album? It's just before I became a punk rocker. About questions, or something like that. Can't remember. I tell you what I did hear the other day when I went to see that covers band, brilliant soul band called the Soul Disciples in Nuneaton at the Queen's Hall. They played, now I've forgotten the name of it, but a Van Morrison song. Not It's off that album, Moon Dance, that's on. What's that album called? What's the song? You'll know the one. Tell me, then I can tell everyone how great it is. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. Dormston Cook, you are a superstar. He's just donated a tenner. He comes up as $9.99 because he must have done it on an Apple device. So he's done that on YouTube. So he's donated £10. And he's done it before. Thank you very much. As I said to my wife, now you've done it once. Can you do it again? Thank you, Dormston. Superstar. And he says, there you go, Gaunty. Top man. Thinking of Savile makes me sick to the stomach now, says Stephen Hall. Makes everyone sick. Every single day there's more bad news. And it's Labour all the time, says Forever English. Thank you very much indeed. We all say silly things when we're school kids. Farage, he's written garage there, but I think he means Farage. I might accept an apology from Starmer's dad. Oh dear. Whose last push should have been at Paul. Yes, okay. I'll let you get off with that one. What we got next? I turn the TV over if Starmer comes on. I don't want to break my TV. I know what that feels like. Thank you. Now he's doing to us what this terrible person has done. And he's back to his lying, says Jeff Redcliffe. Yeah. I think that's the thing that one should get rather annoyed about. He's basically lying to you. And it's like a double lie. Because you know, like when your mum used to say, never lie. You tell a lie, one lie, you'll have to tell another. And you used to think, oh, but she was right, wasn't she? She was absolutely right. And that's what Starmer does all the time. And I don't even think he cares. I think he's gone past caring. Maggie Morley says, all the love is speaking up about this man as they sit behind their gated mansions, referring to him as a writer. I wonder if Nigel will get a reply to his letter to the Home Secretary. Yeah, Nigel Farage has written to, what's her name? Mahmood, hasn't he? It's just, what's going on is just terrible. It is just terrible. What's this? What about the business rates on Manchester Airport going up from 4.2 million to 18.1 million? That's mad. I know the point you're trying to make, Jeff. And I'll tell you what, it's also the price of, what do you call that thing? Business rates. It's not called business rates anymore, is it? Anyway, it's the same with small pubs. I'm going to do a special about pubs and hospitality in the next few days. We'll just get New Year out of the way, and then we'll talk about that. I think it's just, well, they're trying to wreck the British pub. We talked about this before. We think we know the reason. He doesn't want people to congregate together because you know what the subject matter would be, Starmer. And how do we get rid of the cretin? Yeah. Right, I'm finishing. Thank you very much for joining in today. This one, Chrissy, says, is Nigel going to be the next Prime Minister? Yeah, I would imagine so. But who knows? 7 days, a week is a long time in politics. And there's 36 months at least of this bunch of imbeciles before we get there, unless we get rid of him before, or unless he realises, look at him in that picture, unless he realises he's got to fall on his sword. I just think what's going on so bad. And what I do think, and I'm not trying to spread alarm, was that it'll only take another terrorist attack, won't it? Something else happens, a spark, and I think then people will be up in arms. And then the worry then is, of course, where does that end? How does that stop? That's why Starmer has to boot this bloke out. He has to come on the telly and say, I made a mistake. And he can even say, but so did the Conservatives. He can blame them because he's good at that, isn't he? Blaming them. Oh, it was their fault. 14 years, blah, 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 blah. But I also should not have let him in. Then he could pass the blame on to Lammy if he wants. Who cares? And Lammy would pass it on to Yvette Cooper. This is just, I'm joking, but this is just so disgusting, isn't it? Dormston Cook says, Happy New Year, Gaunty. Thank you. And thank you for your donation. And Happy New Year, says Maggie Morley. Keep up the good work, says Jeff Radcliffe. And Happy New Year. It's not New Year. It's not New Year's Eve today, is it? It's the 29th. I'll be doing another show. What day is it today? Tuesday. I'll be doing one tomorrow, definitely. And maybe one on Thursday as well. I've got to try and get the coffee donations up. Otherwise, I'll be selling a big issue. Scooby-Dooby-Doo! big issue. Thank you for joining in today. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, probably at my normal time. And hopefully the mighty Sky Blues will win tonight. In fact, I'm convinced they will. So that's at 6 o'clock. It's on the telly as well. So if you want to watch it, I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, if you've got Jackie Ward, there she is. Look, thank you, Jackie. She gave me the 3 red hearts. It means I can stop now. Thank you, Jack. Right, I will be back. Hang on, I will be back tomorrow. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them you love them. Thanks for making the show successful, and I'll see you on. What day is it? Tuesday. It's Monday today, isn't it? All right. Catch you later. All the best. Thank you.